Happy spring, my dear ones. As Unitarian Universalists, we're a people that value transformation, recognizing that change is the nature of existence and seeking to be open to being transformed as we make this journey of our lives through the ever-changing world. One way we can ground ourselves in this value of transformation is by drawing from earth-centered spirituality and observing the ever-spiraling rounds of the seasons, the wheel of the year. Our Soul Matters theme this month is trust. And I spoke earlier in the month about how for some of us, the pluralism of belief in our UU faith makes it hard to see what this faith offers someone to trust in. As we watch the wheel turn year after year of our lives, as we learn about the science that describes the elliptical rotation of our tilted planet around our central star, as the daffodils and forsythia bloom again year after year, we know that spring will always come again. Some of our ancestors in the distant past may have honored the solstices and equinoxes with rituals that they hoped or believed or trusted would allow that wheel to keep turning. I, however, am very clear that the wheel doesn't need me to turn it. It's going to turn. Whatever I do, Earth will keep on cycling through the seasons, whether I notice it or not. And that, my friends, is something I can trust in. That in 360-odd days, once again, the day and night will be equal, with the days lengthening from there. The earth offers so much to trust in. And when human-made things start to break down, let us plant our trust in the ground beneath our feet. Planting seeds is an incredible act of trust, that given soil, water, and sun, they will sprout and grow. But it's a reasonable act of trust, like trusting in the seasons, because the cycle of seed, shoot, flower, fruit has been around for more than 65 million years. Since before there were people, seeds have been sprouting. For years, my mother has had an illustrated quote attributed to Kabir, a 15th century Indian poet, on her wall, and it reads, "Faith, waiting in the heart of a seed, promises a gift of life it cannot prove at once." But even though the seed can't prove it, we believe it anyway. We trust the seeds to sprout, and no one would call us foolish or naive for believing that the seeds we planted this morning will grow under the loving care of the folks at So Therapeutic. Seems like it could be a little frightening for that seed, though. Imagine you've been held and protected by a strong, hard shell, inert and safe. And then suddenly, your shell is softened by water, and you begin to get bigger until suddenly you no longer fit inside the shell that once protected you, and you stretch out and unfold into a world of wind and rain and bugs, and you are soft and tender and now vulnerable. But it's worth it for that seed, right? Because now it's become a plant with green leaves. It gets to soak in this incredibly abundant resource, the sunlight, and make it into food. I know that I'm kind of a nerd, but photosynthesis will never cease to amaze me. Life on this planet transformed itself to be able to get all the nourishment it needs from sunlight, air, and water. Plants don't hustle, my friends. They plant themselves in the earth and soak in everything they need. And they can do that because this is an abundant planet with a continuing stream of energy coming from our star, a cycling flow of water from sky to sea and back again with brief sojourns in the bodies of living things. Always cycling, though. Always returning. The seed knows Earth's abundance. But we have been taught a different story. Did you know that humans produce more than enough food to feed every human on this planet? Did you know that there are enough empty homes in the US for every person to have a place to live and still have a goodly number of empty homes? Did you know that if we split up the US gross domestic product among our people equally, everyone, from the tiniest baby to the most aged, would get more than $60,000 every year? It's hard to believe these things because they run so counter to the way our society works. We have learned a myth of scarcity from the capitalist worldview we soak in here in the United States. Scarcity says there is never enough. You always need more consumption, more production, unending growth. This is a myth, my dear ones. It is not a truth. Look at our beloved Earth. Watch the wheel of the year. There is no always producing in the more than human world. There are seasons. There is rest. And yet there is always enough. It is our human systems that are obscuring the truth of our great mother's abundance. In Suzanne Collins' first Hunger Games novel, Katniss' father has died less than a year before. Her mother has fallen into a deep depression, and she and her sister are starving. In a pivotal moment in her life, Katniss sees the first dandelions of spring, and she realizes that she will be able to feed her family with the foraging skills she has learned from her father. She sneaks beyond the walls of the open-air prison in which the powerful keep her mining community confined, and by relying on the abundant earth, rather than succumbing to human-made scarcity, Katniss and her family go from starving to having more than enough to share. How can we bring this speculative fiction parable to bear on our own lives? Generosity is another one of our foundational UU values, and yet, if we are stuck in the myth of scarcity, it will be very hard to be generous. If I believe there is never enough for me, how can I give? I think about this now, especially during our annual giving drive season, when we ask you, our community, to make a pledge of the financial support you can give the congregation in the next fiscal year. And I want to say, I think this congregation is learning from the abundance that surrounds us here. It's pretty special because you have committed to paying your people a fair wage when I've seen too many other congregations stuck in the myth of scarcity, saying we can't afford to do right by our people even though we know our values call us to do so. Saltwater Church, you put your money where your values are. To those of you who got your pledges in already, and especially those who were able to increase them from last year, I want to say a special thank you. You are giving me something I can trust in right now, the power of this community to plant our many small seeds together, each giving what we can so we can grow something beautiful that serves this world, our congregation. Have you seen the meme where there's the one cartoon person saying they're worried about what's to come in the future, and the other cartoon person says they think the future will have flowers in it? The first one asks, why? And the second one says, because I'm planting flowers. We are all nervous about the future right now, and we have every right to be. But also, we make the future, right? Our seeds that we planted this morning will help heal people. It will help draw the pollinators to make the food that will feed people in our community. We are part of them having food to eat. Wow. And the money that you give to this community, that grows into staff hours, into programs, into repair and maintenance of our buildings and grounds. All those things allow us to be the hub of activism, a place of spiritual grounding, and an antidote to loneliness, a place where we practice love, foster connection, nurture spiritual growth, and act for justice, just as our mission says. Let us trust in each other, beloveds, and what we can grow together. just as we trust in the return of spring and the sprouting of the seeds. May our generous giving continue to reflect the abundant truth of our beloved planet and our own star, the sun, whose time is growing longer now that it is spring.